beautiful day in Lagos, and today you are sharing another tea time session with me, Omobolaji Adewale, right here at Heritage Royal. Today I have here with me Barrister Suyi Adebayo, a legal practitioner who has more than 20 years practicing law in Nigeria. And today we'll be talking about illegal documentation in Nigeria. So we want our Barrister Suyi, we would like you to you don't know anything about property law, anything related to law and real estate in Nigeria.
Okay.
And today I have series of questions for you. But before then, can you share your experience with us, introduce yourself to us briefly?
All right. Thank you, Omobolaji. So I was called. I name myself Suya Adebayo. I was called to the bar July 2003. 21 years, calendar wise, but we tend to say 22 years post call because the year of your call, that receipt is counted as 1 year. So I was called in 2003. I studied law in Lagos State University, Ojo. I did my BL in Lagos campus, and I was called to about 2003. I did my master's in Unilag. And I have been practicing steadily since 2004 October. Till date, I don't think there's been any few months I have not really either practiced one area or aspect of law or the other. I don't think it has been up to 3 months at any stretch.
Wow.
Even when I was in an immigration firm, I was still doing a lot of things with real estate law or practice area of real estate law, preparing documents and so on and so forth. I think that's really about me.
All right. Thank
For
you so
now,
much.
yeah.
Thank you so much. That's like 2 decades. Practicing law.
More than 2 decades.
More than 2 decades. Okay, so I have a series of questions for you. And my very first question is, what inspired you to specialize in this area of law?
Now, over time, when you begin to do your own thing, you get passionate about some things. But as a lawyer, you are called to practice generally. You would start practicing from some certain areas based on where you start work from. I was opportune. The first set of duties I was given when I started working with my then boss was I was co-opted to a merger and acquisition team for some banks. Those that remember that period, a lot of banks in Nigeria were merging. So we were doing what you call, in layman's terms, due diligence. So we were running both searches on court processes at the various court registries, Federal High Court, High Court Ikeja, High Court Ibushiri, as it then was. And we were also running searches at the land registry in Alausa. So we were for almost 60 days, my job was to go to report either for the normal weekly meetings in the office of the lead merger acquisition team. Then it was Jackson Eti and Edu. Was one of their partners, Master Kama, who was the one heading the team. So all of us were reporting on like once for a week or once in 2 weeks, and so on and so forth. Now, when I resumed my legal duties, quote unquote, resuming in an office, there were 5 core areas that I started in. Was real estate, general litigation, intellectual property, human rights law, and media law, mass media law. Those were the 5 areas my boss then, Chief Wale Taiwo SAN, was moving. I had cases either in any of those, but he had a robust legal practice. And since I was the most junior in chambers, I was one doing all the running around. And because I was able to get results for, especially when I went to land, I was able to move files from one table to the other, and I understood the workflow. He ended up always only sending me to land all the time because I was able to do everything. He didn't need to go himself, he didn't need to send anybody else. I moved firms, I was still preparing tenancy agreements and so on and so forth, preparing deeds of assignments. I now moved to another firm where, at a point in time between 07, 08, let's just say 08, till 2010 December that I left that firm. I literally there was a time I was the main go-to person for anything relating to real estate, from documentation to searches to due diligence to anything related to real estate, to perfection, C of O's, um, re-certification of the C of O, deeds of sublease. I had done almost everything you could think of. So by the time I now went to my last firm, before I started working on my own, the person was like, I know you now and everything. It was even when I told one or two people that, okay, I'd resigned from my last office and all that, I wanted to get another job. It was people that were like, okay, let me make a few calls for you. And they were like, you know this person? I said, yes, yes. I normally see her at the land registry. That was my last boss, Mrs. Ronkakiola. And like, we normally say at land registry, but I need someone to do litigation. I said, yes, actually do my litigation. I'm quite good in whatever I need to do because a lawyer wins his cases from the office, not in court. The rest we do in court is demo. Nowadays, your processes, you must have them locked down from the research you have done in the office. And I kept on doing, so I discovered that, okay, this is 2014. I've resigned. What will I do? I'm good in real estate documentation, but if you don't have the clients, you cannot continue what you love. So I was doing general civil and a few intellectual property jobs, registering copyrights, registering trademarks. When slow and steady over the years, it's even in the last 4 years, between 2019 and now, that I've had more clients in doing so many things in real estate. There is no week that goes by I'm not having something relating to do with real estate or the other. If I'm not going to court to take out a tenant, I'm going to court to get someone's land back or something like that. I'm doing one thing or the other in real estate. So over time, you could just say I was where I started from, and it just kept going. And now, in my law firm, real estate maybe 50% of what I do, documentation, litigation, and all that. General litigation is now the rest, about 30%, and then every other thing, corporate, commercial, is 20%.
Wow.
That is where we are till now. I think I've done the whole
Yes.
20 plus years.
Wow, that is 20. You just narrated 20 years of legal practice.
Very well.
In less than.
It happened to me like someone else.
Well, thank you so much for that. Now, moving on to the real estate aspect, I would like you to tell us the foundational reason of the real estate industry when it comes to real estate law. Because I noticed that a lot of times people, let me say, not just clients, even some realtors, they tend to like find it hard to understand what really goes which way in real estate and law. So I'd like you to give us like a foundational, explanation of real estate and how it works.
All right. Now, let me just say that nobody can understand real estate law and practice in all its ramifications like immediately. Um, if we are going on a journey, right, we are going to be doing um, things like letting the average person understand what they need to do before they buy property. So, at any given time, anybody who wants to buy property should start from the basic. He or she must conduct due diligence. I think I mentioned that was one of the first things I started doing in my real estate practice. You have to do due diligence on your property that you have your eye on. So some people call it a search, some people call it due diligence, some people either of the two they are both correct. Now, what does it entail to do a search? The way the lawyer is trained, we are trained to work or do everything the lawyer does is with the government. That's the simplest way I can say it. So a lawyer wants to go to court to enforce your rights. He goes to a court that is run by the government.
Exactly.
You understand? When you get a judgment, let's say it's in your favor, it's the government that helps you enforce that judgment of the court. Are you with me? So now, a search or due diligence has to be done in line or in tandem with the government. So if I'm buying a piece of plot of land, the first question I will ask is what title does it have? Right? So that I can conduct my due diligence. If they say, oh, it has no title, I can educate my clients as a lawyer on the risk of buying without title. So is it, and I will not be like, okay, sir, look, let's look at it. Okay, it has no title. But what is its classification? What is its status? Is it a place that the government has a plan for, or is it a place that the government can regularize?
Sorry, please, before we, so it means there is difference between the title and the status of the land.
There is difference between the title and status of land. Now, the only time I can start using status or classification of a land or any property, I have to first, it means the property is not titled. Once it is titled, I don't need to bother about status or classification. But for due diligence purposes, I will send the lawyer, the surveyor there. I do a lot of my work with surveyors because of where a physical plot of land may be, the document covering it may be actually for somewhere else. So if the person wants to sell this mic to my client, but this mic, the physical location of this mic is this place, I will send a surveyor to the physical location to make sure that the receipts for the mic or this physical location here falls where the mic is supposed to be. All right, so let me just rephrase that so I'm scattering everybody's head. Basically, that piece or parcel of land that I want to purchase, I will send a surveyor there to make sure that piece of parcel of land, the coordinates fall in the title document they claim covers it. So whatever the title document is, whether it's a C of O or a registered deed of assignment or a government gazette, once I can verify that that physical location is in the paper, no problem. Now, a titled land is a document that covers land that is registered with the government. Simple. So once anything is untitled, it means the government has no knowledge of it. So if it is titled, the government has a record of it.